Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to check out Smash Bros. Infinite 3.0. I know it's been a long time in the making. My last release was back in January. As I've said before, my life's been really busy, so it's taken a long time to get it out till now. I wanted to have it out in the summer, but, the alternate stage loader was completed, and I thought, well, I don't want to release this now, and then skip out on this huge update I've been waiting to do since last January, so I delayed it until now, just to get all that out for everybody. This is going to be a very informal video, just like the last one. I don't have the time to put together a proper video for this right now. I've been very busy. I've been working a full-time job as part of my college program, and I've been under a lot of pressure and whatnot at home. So I've just been totally swamped, and I've been really wanting to get this out and released for everybody, because I don't know when it would come out if I didn't get it out now. So this is going to be pretty quick. This is going to be just a short rundown of what's going on. Then I'm going to shut up, and I'm just going to have some generic gameplay, just some raw, random gameplay footage I threw together for people, because I know a lot of people always ask to see some previews of that, so it's nothing in particular, nothing special. I tried to think of some stuff off the top of my head that I know people asked or were waiting for, but nothing really planned in particular. So I'm just going to look over my changelog here and try to summarize up what's different. Well, actually, I should start for people who haven't played Smash Bros. Infinite before. Smash Bros. Infinite is a mod pack. It's completely community-driven and created. I'm Secret Chaos 1, it's my screen name I go by. I don't want to really disclose my real name for privacy concerns, but I put together the pack. I download files from the community, I bug test them, I modify them if need be, which a lot of times is need be with so many different mods running together at once, and I try to make everything as stable and cooperative as possible for people to play with. So I don't make everything from scratch. That's a common misconception. People think I do this all myself, like I'm some kind of modding wizard. No, I'm not. Do not give me full credit for this. I do not deserve it. I really, really implore you to check out the documentation I've included. I've provided credit for every single person whose work has gone into this, and it's incredible some of the things people have come up with in here, and I think it's a shame that any of that should ever be overshadowed. So first and foremost, I always stress, if you really like a mod in the pack, if you really like a moveset, if you like a stage, if you like a costume, whatever, have it. Check out the documentation, find out who made it, give them a shout out, tell them that you really like their work, tell them you really enjoy it. It means a lot to people to hear that others are enjoying the hard work that they've made in their time. It's great to hear. I know for me, I've got a lot of feedback of people saying they love the pack, they enjoy the pack, it's their favorite mod pack, it's their favorite thing to play, and it means a lot to me, because that's the reason I do this. I started putting this together as just my own personal pack way back when, and as I was throwing it all together and setting up all these cosmetics and testing everything and going through all this over and over, I realized, gee, this is a lot of work. A lot of people would probably have fun doing brawl modding, but I don't know how many people have the time to put together something like this. Like, most people will just rush out and download Project M or something more well known, and they're only getting a little slice of what the community has to offer. Whereas when I put together my pack, I'm scouring through the net, finding everything possible that I can, and I'm like, ooh, that's cool, I want to put that in, ooh, that's neat, I want to put that, ooh, I like that game, let's have a reference to that in here. I mean, compared to a lot of other stuff in the community, mine's a very, I'm trying to think of a polite word to use for it, let's say catastrophe. It's a mix of everything. It's not balanced. It's not, I try to, first and foremost, include things that make sense, but I like to include some things that don't as well for the sake of humor. I only really include things that don't if I run out of options, because I also try to include absolutely as much as possible. which has run into a lot of problems with this release. but I'll get into that shortly after. So anyway, that said, if you like something, check out the documentation, find out who made it, give them a shout out, please. That would really make their day. I know it makes my day every time I get a comment back from somebody, and I would love to spread that, just those good vibes out to everyone in the community. That being said, let's see, where do I want to touch next? Like I said, I haven't, this isn't scripted, I'm just sort of going off the top of my head, so... Right, for people who haven't played before, I'm still doing that, of course. Let me get my little, go into the documentation myself, because I sure as hell don't remember everything here. So, most characters have about 14 alternate costumes. There's 65 additional characters added to the game, which includes, not just ones on the menu there, but also, I think I've got Lucina on Marth if you choose the last half of Marth's costumes, and there's some now too, like Young Link has been bumped off. You have to hold, I've taken the code from Project M, where you hold shield to load an alternate character. Essentially, if you know the old cheat code from regular Brawl, where you load Zero Suit Samus at the start of a match by holding L button with the GameCube controller or what have you, it's the exact same code, but now it's going to apply to Samus, Zelda, and Toon Link. Why Zelda? I don't know. Once I put Brawl X in, changing to Sheik on the default way doesn't seem to work anymore. I forget how to set it back. I haven't had the time to go look into how to set it back. It was faster just to set it up like this. It's a little more inconvenient, but it still works. Only thing that kind of sucks about having to do that, see, I've hit my limit. On the last release, I hit my limit to how many characters actually could fit on the screen. So by recombining Zelda and Sheik and Samus and Zero Suit, I opened up 2 more slots that I could play with, and then by sticking Young Link in with Toon Link, I opened up a 3rd one. I was almost going to replace him again, but I still have a lot of people telling me not to, so instead I tried to clean him up a bit. He plays a little better now. I fixed just some moves that I found were the most problematic when playing him. And I've updated his costumes to actually be different since I am keeping him now. I had put a bunch of them on Toon Link before because I wanted to keep the costumes, but since he's staying, that's no longer an issue. Anyway, I'm going way off topic here. I'm switching into updates and switching into features. I'm trying to focus on features, sorry. Menus and menu backgrounds are all customized. Cosmetics are all set up properly, so I try to take in-game screenshots for every single character so that you actually see what you're playing as. A few of them I used the included ones they came with, but for the most part I took my own, which is a long and tiring process. But I prefer things to be what you see is what you get. In regards to that, for anyone who hasn't played before, character select picks are blurry. That's not a bug. That's a, how would I put that? That is a restriction on my file size limits. The character select screen file size can't go over a certain amount or the game crashes, so I have to really cut back everything. You might notice a lot of the menu objects and whatnot look a bit blurry too. I don't think Wi-Fi mode would work at all, but since Wi-Fi is dead and I don't think this would be compatible anyway, I've deleted a lot of those now to free up room. I basically cut corners in every possible place I could, and I was just able to fit all this in because I've added a bunch of more costumes from last time, and last time I was cutting corners to fit things in, so really had to squeeze. They're still visible, and I've tried to take them a bit more zoomed in, like just sort of busts of characters now so you can see who they are. A lot of the older ones haven't been updated. I just have not had the time to go around and find out what needs to be done and then to do it. But they should all be still visible enough to tell what they are. And if you can't, you can always refer to the documentation. Also, if you want to know who is what from a costume, that's a good place to go to. And the big update here, which wasn't in the last one, is stages. The pack now has 450 plus stages. As I said, alternate stage loader came up, wanted to make use of it. I did quite a lot. And I've also added in, I've replaced the regular stamina mode with Project M stamina mode, which seems to work really good for the most part. Is a little glitchy with some characters that it's not designed for, I find Wario, if you're on his bike and you have blast zones off, he sometimes triggers them anyway. Not only that, but some stages, if you turn blast zones off, still seem to have them. Not entirely sure why. I don't have time to go and test every single stage for stamina mode and fix every single stage for stamina mode. Consider it like an extra sort of feature that's not really like a main part. Like, it works for all the main stages from what I can tell, and it works for a lot of the custom stages. But in my, you'll see in some of the preview footage here, I did find some issues that I didn't notice before because I've not thoroughly tested it. It is a lot of fun though, when it works, so definitely check it out. And if you find a certain stage doesn't like it, avoid that. And if you find you're playing without blast zones and certain characters seem to affect it, like Wario with his bike, not really sure who else kind of does something like Wario where they ride like an item, so I'm not sure what else might affect that, or what else might not have been in Project M that would have not been accounted for when they programmed their stamina mode. But just to keep in mind, I'm probably not going to work on bug testing and ironing out stamina mode. It's really an extra. It's something I added in last minute and thought would be neat, and it seems to work pretty well, so yeah. So those are the main features. Now to get back to updates. So fighter-wise, I'll start with, I fixed a lot of bugs. I've had a lot of bugs reported to me from the last release, and I tried to fix as many of those as I could. Most notably, out of the ones that were reported to me, Raiden's Final Smash used to last forever. Pretty sure I've got that fixed. If not fixed, it should happen a lot less often than before because I couldn't seem to get it to happen again. Didn't used to check when it's supposed to be finished on every attack, and if it passed by it, it would kind of go on forever. I've changed that and made it so that it should check all the time. Paper Mario had major issues that I've been trying to fix ever since I first put him in. Pretty sure they're good now. I borrowed an animation fix that was used by a user called Kitsu-chan, and I edited his hitboxes, which used to be interruptible, and now they can't be. Haven't had any issues since I've done that. Fingers crossed. That'll be the last time I have to fix him up. There were some people who couldn't use assist trophies. I fixed those up. Chirino would die for no reason. I fixed that. I had to completely rebuild her from scratch. I want to shout out there to King Jigglypuff for looking at the file for me and suggesting that, because that worked out, and that was a big issue that really had me stumped. Fox's Final Smash used to crash the game. That's been fixed up there. The costumes for Gex and Real Fox look a little more stiff now because of that. They used to have some edits to Fox's moveset that would cause them to look more proper. Gamadami K set that up, and it works really cool when it works, but for whatever reason it was causing the Final Smash to crash. So I had to go and just edit the models. I just disabled some of the bones to make them look more natural than not without that modification to the moveset. So the Landmaster works again. Gex's neck is a little stiff, but he still works, and I don't think it's really that noticeable on Real Fox. Let's see here, who else has been improved from glitch-wise stuff? There's been a lot of balances I did too, but I don't think I'm going to go over all of those. I fixed some graphics related to Vegeta and Riptor with their fireballs and key blasts. They shouldn't unload as often anymore, because they're now set up the same way I do everyone else. Let's see here. I think that's for the most part. I tried to fix Dragonite a bit more. He's always been an issue with crashing the game. I find every now and then when you unload him, it will mess things up. Oh, excuse me. I find every now and then when he's unloaded, it'll crash the game. I still have never been able to figure out why. I think it's file size related. I've cut his file size down even more. And I also found out that his Final Smash can be shielded. It no longer can. It'll break your shield and do massive damage. I think the same went for another moveset as well, but I can't remember which now. I added some sound effects to Dante because that was requested, because it was weird when he shot his guns and it made no sounds. I meant to go and do some other characters as well. I didn't have time, so he's really the only one that got that. Actually, no, I lied. Bayonetta 2. I redid her gun sound effects to match the ones I picked for Dante, because they were very loud and obnoxious, and just sort of really hard on the ears with how many times she shoots. Let's see. Bug fixes. Cut down some of Spider-Man's graphical effects, so he lags a lot less. I think that's generally it for moveset bugs. There's a lot of costumes in that were reported to crash. I went in and reduced their size as well, which seems to have fixed those. Big the Cat was one that I got reports for a lot. I fixed him pretty early on. Yeah. I won't get into balances. There has been a lot of changes, though. I tried to nerf some characters where it's been recommended, where it's been reported to me, that is. Dark Samus and Dark Link are some good examples of that. Yeah. I added one of Luffy's transformations back because that was recommended to me a lot. I found his transformations were really overpowered, and one of them changed his used different models that were included with his costume, which would cause the game to crash because the file size was too big. So I didn't put that transformation back in, unfortunately, but I did put one of the other ones in that changes some of his moves and makes him a lot faster. I've reduced how fast that makes him, and I've made it require 60 damage to do. I felt that was sort of a fair trade-off, because before it just seemed really overpowered that you could do it anytime you want, with no drawback. And I fixed a lot of graphical effects up with certain characters that didn't seem to work quite right too. Okay, so now I'm going to go over moveset replacements, because I did replace some. I didn't replace any movesets with new characters when it comes to replacing, but I replaced them with either recommended or better movesets, or updated movesets. Ridley was a really highly recommended one. That took a lot of work because Ridley is set up for Project M and uses a lot of variables and commands that only work in Project M and like to crash regular Brawl. So I had to iron those out. I had to do some reprogramming to his side special so it doesn't quite work like it used to. It doesn't do a true throw anymore. I tried to do some editing to make it work. It just did not work at all. But I made it so that you can control it side to side after you hit somebody with it, so you can keep on top of your opponent if you slide on top of them, instead of being able to actually just hold onto them and drag them down. So fundamentally it still works pretty well. It's still a lot of fun to use, but that was really the best I could do to get it to work properly. There was another fixed moveset out there that just replaced it with his neutral special and just had it shoot another fireball, the same as the other one. But I really didn't want to do that because I don't like him having exactly the same move on 2 attacks. So I went and did that instead. I thought that was a better solution to that. So there's that. Phantom Ganon's been updated to the famous Ocarina of Time Project Ganon moveset. That also took a hell of a lot of work to get working right, because that's also a Project M designed moveset. Not only that, he was designed to not use items, so I had to really squeeze in all the animations for that, since he's very heavy on file size to begin with. His costumes had to be moved around a bit too, because he has to keep a very low size on those because of that. He seems to work really well now. I find sometimes his neutral special still has a bug where it can crash, but I haven't been able to determine when and where and why, and it seems to be very infrequent. Like, it might happen to be once, like, 20 matches of playing. I think it maybe has to do with the type of ground he's on top of and how he's supposed to float on it, but I can't figure out for sure, and I can't seem to figure out a way to fix it. I did mess around with it and got it to be a lot more stable. So if you find some crashes while doing that, I tried. But for the most part, he does seem to work really good and really well. I replaced his sound effects with regular Ganondorf sound effects, which, because I already had the slot that he came with already replaced for with Shadow. So switched him to regular Ganondorf. I feel like it still works pretty well. Isn't that much of a loss. Same goes for Ridley. I switched actually just to boss Ridley sound effects, because I believe the slot he was using was already used by somebody else as well. But yeah, for the most part though, he works really well. Took a lot of screwing around to get him to work properly though, so I'm really proud of how he turned out, and he's a lot of fun to use. I tried to balance both of them, Ridley and Phantom Ganon there, or Project Ganon, however you want to call it. But they are designed for PM, which made them very overpowered when put in the vanilla brawl environment. Ridley seems okay. Ridley doesn't seem too overpowered because he's got a lot of drawbacks. He's very slow. His forward smash does an insane amount of damage, but it has an insane amount of charge up. Like there's enough balancing already in there that it seemed pretty good. The Project Ganon moveset felt incredibly broken. I tried to cut back on a lot of knockback. His attack 100, or like the when you hold A button and it continues to do like a jab of some kind like that, where he makes like a shadowy thing kind of come out in front of him and sucks people in. That used to be almost impossible to break out of from what I could tell. I've changed the way that it functions so that it can be broken out of a lot easier, more like how most people's work, because that just seemed really unfair. His up smash still seems to have a lot of knockback. I've tweaked around and messed with it a lot to reduce it, and I can't really find consistency with it even after I changed the way the damage on it was calculated. It seems like with certain characters it knocks them back a lot, like at much lower damages than others. I'm not entirely sure why, but I've made it really, I've slowed down the way it works to make up for that. It functions a lot more like Lucas now. So I've tried to have it kill at about the same damage as Lucas, which means it can kill really quick and really easy, but it takes a while to actually launch because of that. The original moveset had him actually have hitboxes all along while he was charging it up, so it would hold them in place and then launch them. I've got rid of all those, so now you have to really like either freeze the opponent first with one of his other attacks, or just hope that you land it before they hit you. I feel like it's a much better trade-off though than before, where it just felt way too overpowered. So balancing wise, suggestions for him are welcome. I don't know when I'll get around to doing them, but I know that he is pretty not as overpowered as he was when I put him in, but I'm not the best at balancing without feedback, so I did what I could with what I could figure out. That said, Metal Sonic has been updated to Darkon 360's version. He recommended that to me himself, so I was pretty keen on putting that in. I thought that was pretty neat. I ported over a lot of the costumes from the old Metal Sonic, which worked pretty good. Some of them didn't work at all, so I repurposed them over other characters. I made a couple of personal changes that I wanted to make, because there were some moves that I knew were either just very similar to Wolf or Sonic's, and I kind of wanted just to make them a little more unique, so I changed a few of them to the old Metal Sonic's moveset's moves. Not too many of them, because I didn't want to radically change the moveset, because it's really good the way it is. But there was a couple references in the other one that I really wanted to keep. For instance, with his throws, I put in the up throw, which was from Sonic the Fighters, because I love references to old games and movesets. I think it's really awesome. And his back air is a reference to a Sonic, an old video that was released in the mid-90s. And I repurposed that as his back throw, which was a bit of a pain to do, because I've never really coded a throw before, but I got it to work all right. Actually, they're just, although I changed the throws, they're actually just cosmetic changes. I kept the same hitboxes and whatnot as the original moveset. It's just because I like those references and I wanted to have them in there. Down smash I changed too, because it used to just be Sonic's, if I recall right. And I changed his forward tilt because I think it was just Wolf's before. And I swapped the animations for two of his aerials. And I gave his forward aerial a little boost to make it a bit different. but the hitboxes on them, I believe, are the same. I just wanted to change them up a bit because I found his neutral air and his neutral special in the air were kind of similar, and I just wanted them to look a little different. I didn't do a very good job on the neutral air, I have to admit, but I just wanted to mix things up a little bit, put a couple of personal twists on that. Unfortunately, I did that with the first version of the moveset that was released earlier this year, and there was actually a later version released that I didn't know about until just before release. I didn't have time to put together the newer released version, but I did take the models from the new released version because they're really, really nice. So I put a couple of those in. I kept a couple of the old models though too, because I found they had more of a metallic shine, and for some of the alt costumes I really liked how that looked. But his default and some of the default alts for sure I updated to the much nicer looking model. Okay, I think that's out of all the updated ones, the one I made the most personal changes to, which is why I wanted to get that out of the way. Cloud was updated to a Final Fantasy VII version by Beyond and Hallowed Hero. I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Who else was really updated? I know there's definitely more. Oh, did I say Ryu? I don't think I said Ryu. Ryu was updated to Calaking's version, which is a hell of a lot better than the old one that was in there. It's actually really cool. He even has a transformation. I think when he gets 60 damage on if you hold one of his taunts, then he can become Evil Ryu, which is really neat. Going quiet here while I scan. Sephiroth was updated. That was another way back in January. A lot of people were recommending me to ADPX's one. It looks really overpowered, but it's not. It has a lot of drawbacks that aren't obvious to see because he has such huge range and very destructive looking attacks, but he doesn't really do a lot of damage, not as much as it looks like he's doing. Some of his moves are a bit slow or have a lot of build-up, and he doesn't have a lot of knockback on a lot of his moves. And he can't do throws. He gets a different move in place of his throws. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's a really, really awesome moveset. So I just said, no, that's fine. He doesn't get throws, so be it. I know 2D Marissa doesn't get them either, so it's not like it's unheard of. But it's just really, he has so many cool graphical effects, and his final smash is extremely cinematic. It's just a really, really cool moveset. So that's been updated. And I think that's it for major updates to existing movesets. I might have missed one, but for the most part, I believe that's all of them. Any other existing movesets that were updated were usually just like small bug fixes or balance suggestions, stuff like that. But those ones are totally new movesets that have replaced the previous ones. New characters, I put 3 new ones in. Base, who was highly recommended and that I've been waiting to put in since he was announced by Calaking's there. Actually, when I talk about movesets, I really do like to try to give the credit up to them, so let me get, I don't really have these all listed in the changelog, but I've got them in the actual documentation for characters. Let's see here. I did Sans because Undertale popularity is through the roof right now. The moveset's pretty good. I had to buff it a little bit in some areas and nerf it a little bit in other areas. I've changed the way he works in the sense that his neutral special is like a move where he just sort of intimidates and pushes people back. I've made a little graphical cue so you can see actually where the hitbox is, and I've improved the size of it so it's actually possible to land a lot easier. I made it take a little more time to launch though, to make up for that. His side special I changed too. It used to be extremely overpowered. The reason for this is that it didn't take too long to charge, it did a ton of damage, and interrupting him while he charges doesn't cancel his charge. So you can kill him, you can attack him, you can stop doing it, you can do whatever you want. and it will retain its charge until you use it again and launch it. Because of this, I've made it take a lot more time to actually charge up. Actually, I believe initially I made it take less time to charge up, because initially it was a one-hit kill move, and it took a long time to charge up. But I didn't want it to take that long, and I didn't want it to be a one-hit kill move, because I felt like it was really unfair. So I toned down how long it takes to charge up. It still takes quite a while to charge, and I feel that's fair, since if you interrupt him, he can still keep going as soon as he gets the opportunity. And it has such wide range on it that I feel it's not too hard to miss with either. But I've taken down how much damage it can do as well, and how much knockback it can do as well. So it's still a really good move if you go to charge it in like your spare time. Like if you knock someone back and instead of pursuing them, you take some time to charge the move instead. It's really versatile where and when you can charge it. There's really no limit because of how you can even take a chance of taking a hit and you don't lose anything for charging it. So I felt like by weakening it and whatnot and doing those tweaks, I really balanced out how that works. But he's a really cool moveset. I think those are the only two major changes I made to him. And his final smash is actually really awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't get any video of it here, but when you download the pack, check that out because it's really cool. And last but not least, Crash Bandicoot. And that's a moveset that's been out for a long time. It's also by Kings, one of his earlier ones. And just recently, a user ported it over to be used by Brawl X. They go by the name of Neon Green. That came out actually just before I was about to release, and I was like, oh, I said I wasn't going to add any more characters, but I really wanted to put Crash in, so alright, I'll put him in too. His moveset's pretty neat. It kind of feels like a blend of Luigi and Sonic, but with a lot of Crash's moves thrown in there too. I modified the way he worked a bit too, because he had a lot of moves where he'd go vulnerable in the air, and that just didn't seem to fit. So I looked into how to fix those up so that he can now shoot off his projectiles there from his bazooka, his Wumpa Fruits aerial in the air without having to go into a vulnerable state for doing it, and which also means he can shoot them a couple of times. I updated his down special too to work a bit better, because I found in the air he had like this insane maneuverability with it that didn't really make any sense. And there was some weird glitches with him using his moves, his special moves in the air and then landing on the ground and how it would impact them. But I fixed a lot of those up so that his special moves would work a bit better. His up special is a bit weird. I can't seem to get it to be controllable after you use it. He'll go up and then he sort of just falls and you can't move him left to right. To compensate for this, I have him move slightly forward. So when you use the up special, he's going to go slightly forward in the direction that he's facing afterwards, and you can't really control that left or right. He's got really good recovery though, because he also has his side special that he can use before it. I believe he works a lot like Bomberman with the jetpack. So, but he's a really fun moveset to use. His regular attack combo is really good. And I just really wanted to get like some Sony representation in there in the roster. And poor Crash never got into PlayStation All-Stars. So I thought it would be pretty cool to put him in Infinite. And I believe that's it for new movesets. So what else was I going to go on about? So that's movesets, that's updates. I'm not going to go into balances very much. I've added a lot of codes to stabilize things a bit more. I put in a new FAQ and troubleshooting file. I really recommend you look into that before asking me any questions, because I really don't have time anymore to help everybody out. I'm a helpful kind of person. I try to do it anyway, even though I don't have time. But I really recommend you check that out, because I've tried to include as many of the most common issues people have had in there. What time is it here? How long have I been blabbering? I've been blabbering for a while. So let's get right down to business. Stages, a lot of more stages. I have not tested them, all of them. I've tested them to the point where they load and they work. I have not tested them to the point that will they work with all of these characters? Are they prone to crashing because of their file size? So if you find a stage that seems to crash very frequently, I can look into it, I can try to fix it. I tried to fix spawn points so the Pokemon trainer won't come up in T-stance and stuff like that, because a lot of stages did not have properly set spawn points, which would make that happen. I tried to make sure that blast zones were reasonable when I noticed them, which means not all stages were fixed in that sense, but I tried to fix a lot. And I tried to reduce lag on stages where it was obvious, but like I said, I haven't tested them with a lot of lag-heavy characters. Same goes for costumes. I tried to fix a lot of those up too, but I haven't been able to test to figure out all the ones that need to be fixed. I didn't really get a lot of feedback on what ones needed to be fixed. I think a lot of people play on Dolphin and they don't experience that as an issue, so hard to say. But I tried to fix some of them. But stages, there's a whole ton of them in there now. I tried to include as many from Smash as possible. I tried to include as many from different franchises as possible. I tried to include as many interesting stages as possible. I'm not really big on including flat stages and lots of those, because I don't see the point in having a whole ton of flat stages when they all play fundamentally the same. That being said, there is still a lot of them in there that you can choose, but I'm more keen on picking weird things so that there's more of a variety. Like I said, I set this up with screwing around in mind over competitive nature. Infinite is not competitive at all. It's going to be more like playing Mugen and finding out which character's the most broken to win with. So that being said, I do try to balance, but I'm not an expert at balancing, and I really require feedback to do anything at all when it comes to balancing. That being said, when I have had feedback about balancing, I have done my best to implement it in ways that I feel worked out really good. So the Project M stamina mode was put in, and like I said, that works for the most part. Only thing to note about that is that there is, to change the stamina mode as how the actual stamina works, it's part of the stage select in options. Project M switches the cosmetics back and forth so that it changes from stage select to stamina select. I couldn't get that to work, so I've just modified it so that it says stage select / stamina select. Whatever your mode you're in, that's what it's going to do. The stamina options are on the bottom of the screen, listed in the text box, where it would further describe how the stage selection works. I felt the stage selection was self-explanatory for all of them, so I didn't see the point in having that extra description down there, whereas the stamina is not self-explanatory, so I explained how each mode works. That being said, there is a glitch. If you play stamina mode and then exit and go to regular brawl, sometimes the effects of stamina mode carry over and cause really glitchy effects. If you want to avoid that, if you want to go back to regular brawl, you go back into your special mode after playing stamina. You turn stamina off and just go to the character select screen as like a plain special brawl with nothing added to it, no special features on it. And then you exit and go back to regular brawl and it should all work as normal. That being said, another major glitch that I found just before release is with the alternate stage loader. Castle Siege and Lilac Cruise do not have alternates on them. That's because I couldn't get them to work. I think I figured out why I couldn't get them to work. Castle Siege and Lilac Cruise lock down which alternate file is going to be loaded on the alternate stage loader. I find Lilac Cruise locks on the default and Castle Siege locks on the Hold L stage. I have not found a way to fix this. I bumped into it really late, and I think the best solution would have been just to take those two stages out and put two new slots in. But I don't have the time, and I don't really want to get rid of any of the original stages either. So, word of caution, if you pick one of those, the alternate stage loader will get stuck. Only way to fix it that I've been able to find is to reboot the game. I can't seem to find another way to get it to go back to normal. If you don't pick those levels, you won't have any problems. So you could always go to your random switch and turn them off, but yeah. just to keep in mind. I feel like because it's avoidable and because it doesn't crash the game, it's not something I'm too worried about, but it is inconvenient, so keep it in mind. So there's that. What else was I gonna say? I think that covers mostly everything. I did squeeze a lot more alt costumes in. I fixed some things. Marth and Lucina, I had to redo a little bit so that they have an even amount of costumes. Marth has one more than Lucina, but it's better than Lucina having a lot more than Marth. I fixed some bugs with a lot of Toon Link's clones there, Young Link and Skull Kid. When they used bombs, unless Toon Link was there, they wouldn't really blow up. Like, they'd still damage, but they wouldn't explode. I've changed that so they now have a regular explosion added to them. Same goes for Tails' grenade, which was taken from Snake. I redid all the menus, which I went for more of a cool blue space kind of theme. And I've changed the character select music. Honestly, after modifying and testing and doing this as much as I have, all the character select themes were starting to really not grow on me, but wear on me. So I've updated almost all of them. The only one I kept was, I didn't even keep it, I put a different version of the PlayStation All-Stars theme in because it's Sony Smash Brothers. It's funny. But yeah. I think that covers most of the changes. You can check the change log if you want to really see everything that I did. I kept a documentation over every single change for people who are playing from the last version and also for myself, so I can see what might screw things up. Another big request I had. A lot of people wanted alternate stages to be loaded with the Wii Remote. Now that I'm using a new code, it is possible, and I set it up for you. How does it work? Well, right now on default, GameCube and Classic controller work for the alternate stage loader simultaneously. You don't need to switch files anymore. You can use GameCube and Classic and they will both be able to pick the alternate stages at the same time. I've gotten reports, because I actually did release this a week early on my Facebook page. I've had reports that Classic does not work from some people. All I can say is check the model, the brand of your controller. I tested it with an official Wii Classic controller, just the regular Classic controller. My brother tested it with some of these Intech brand Classic controllers, and they worked. I'm not sure why it's not working for some people where it's not working. Make sure all files copied over correctly. That's something I stress to everybody. It's a big pack, bigger than before, very, very big. And sometimes files do not copy over right, so please make sure that the file size of your new folder matches the one you're copying over, so that everything's there, because if a file's not there, it's probably not going to load. As for the regular Wii Remote, I don't know if it works with Nunchuck. I didn't test with Nunchuck. I only tested it with Wii Remote because that's what people were asking for. I don't know how you play Smash Brothers with a Wii Remote, but apparently a lot of people do. So I set that up for them. It needs a different file. It's the same way as before, where if you use the Classic controller, you swap the codes folders, the file in the codes folder with the other folder. Instructions are there. Please follow them. It explains exactly what to do in the setup. The FAQ and the stage select, the alternate stage documentation explains how it works. I don't change the menu graphics for Classic controller. Sorry, not Classic controller, for Wii Remote. Because to change those would take me forever, and I don't have the time to go in and edit every single stage menu graphic to reflect the Wii Remote. And then that's an additional file you'd have to copy into, and I feel like people might miss it, and that would cause problems, and they'd be confused, and I don't want that. So, in the documentation, in the FAQ, I have listed each button you hold for GameCube and Classic controller, and the corresponding button for the Wii Remote. Wii Remote does not have a lot of buttons on it, and not only that, but my code does not support most of the buttons on the Wii Remote. I think the ones it does support are a fluke, because I don't think it was designed with it in mind. Because of this, it uses all of the directional buttons and minus to do the alternate stage loading. This is pretty inconvenient because pressing a directional button means you're going to move off of the stage. So you have to do it really quick so that you don't move off of the stage before you select the alternate. I'd say kind of edge onto the side of the icon that's furthest away from the direction you're going to be holding, so you have a bit of time. That's the best I can do. There's 5 alternates per stage right now. Even if I could use all the buttons on the Wii Remote, I don't think I've got 5 buttons that can conveniently and properly pick stuff. So I'd be stuck using directional buttons either way at some point. It's really nothing I can do. It's the controller you're using. I recommend using the classic controller. I honestly have no idea how you're playing this with just the Wii Remote on its side. If you're using a nunchuck, I'm not sure how it works with a nunchuck. You want to get back to me on that and let me know, so be it. Might have to unplug the nunchuck, pick the stage, plug it back in. Don't know how that works. Nunchuck users, I can understand a little better how you can play the game because you got a little more buttons and a control stick to work with. But Wii Remote users, you're troopers. That's for sure. So that being said, now I think I've really gotten through everything that I wanted to say, and I can make my last announcement. Oh, that's still recording. That refreshed. No, it's still recording. Smash Bros. Infinite 3.0 is going to be the last major release of Smash Bros. Infinite. Why? I've been doing this since Brawl modding began. Since back when Syntax Error was doing their texture hacks and everybody thought that was the most amazing thing. I've been following since then. I've been setting up my own since Phantom Wings first did his file patch code. And all we could change was textures. We didn't have Brawlbox. There was some other program, I forget what it was called, that would just, you'd slide the file into it, it would compress it all as textures, and then you would recompile it back. It was just, I remember the first stage I made for that was a retexture of Summit to look like Wild Canyon from Sonic Adventure 2, which is still on the Brawl Vault, but I did not include it in the pack because it's just a retexture. I want to include different stages. I really don't want to include 2 of the same if I can help it. That being said, I've been doing this for so long now, and my interest in the project isn't gone, but it's waned, and I'm so busy with school, I'm so busy with work, I'm so busy with my own personal life. I don't have the time to keep this up anymore. I don't have the time to keep up with the fans. I'm so glad that so many of you have come and started enjoying this. I know Vinesauce did a stream back in the summer, which really pushed my popularity through the roof. I mean, maybe not by most people's standards, but to me, it's gotten more attention than anything else I've done before on the internet. And it means a lot to me to see so many people download and play and enjoy something I put so much effort and time into. And I'm just really glad that I could bring the Brawl modding community to so many people that didn't know that it existed. So many parts of it that I feel get overshadowed. And I'm just glad that I can share all this work that so many people have made and so many people have put together and worked so hard on, and to bring that and to bring joy to so many people. It's been a really awesome experience. It's been a lot of fun over the past few years to do this. But the Brawl modding community as a whole is starting to die out. Smash 4 modding is becoming rapidly more and more doable. If they've already got model imports and stage imports, they don't have movesets yet from what I could tell, or if they do, they're very primitive, but they're getting there. So soon enough, Smash Bros. Infinite's probably going to be obsolete altogether anyway because of that. A lot of people ask me, are you going to make a Smash Bros. Infinite for Wii U, as in Smash 4 modded version? No, I'm not. I really don't have the time to pursue a project with as a big a scope as this again. It's just too much time, too much testing, too much going back, helping people. I love helping people, I love setting this up, but I just don't have the time anymore. I really don't. But that being said, I do keep an eye on the Smash 4 modding community. I might set up some things personally for myself, but I don't plan to release a pack. I don't have the time to manage that anymore. As for Infinite, I don't plan this to be the death of it, so to speak. I'm going to keep an eye on it. You're not going to hear from me as much or see from me as much as you used to around here. I might do some videos for fun, showcasing gameplay and whatnot. If you report to me game-breaking bugs, things that crash the game, I will try to fix and release updates for those. I might try to do some small balancing type updates, but I really don't plan to even touch anything other than game-breaking stuff for a long time. I really need to take a long break and focus on stuff in my life right now. So that's another reason why I really wanted to get Infinite out, so you guys could have what I feel is the definitive release. Do I feel it's complete? No, it's definitely not complete. There's a lot of things that I could do still and clean up and fix. I just don't have time to do them all. And I feel like I've fixed or cleaned up or added in all of the major things that I wanted to do. There's even some movesets I didn't get to add in because of time, and I'd have to figure out how to fit them in now, but I don't have the time. I really don't. It's been so much fun working on this though, and it's been great seeing everybody download and enjoy it, and I really hope you all shout out to the people, to the community that helped to bring this all to life, because it's near the end of its life now. I really don't expect the Brawl community to keep going forever, because Smash 4 is just new Brawl. I honestly feel like it's a Brawl to 1.5. In terms of, it's got better mechanics, it's got more characters, it's on a more powerful machine, so modding wise you have a lot less limitations, but I just don't have the interest to pursue it right now. I'm all Smash Bros out when it comes to modding, and but I feel like Infinite has really, it's gotten bigger than I ever thought it would, not just in popularity but in the sheer size of the file itself. So, I squeezed more stuff into this game than I ever thought possible. And not only that, but I've squeezed it onto a 2GB SD card, which was a challenge in itself. So, that being said, I really recommend, if you can, use the 4GB version. Go through the Project M launcher. It's a lot more, I wouldn't say more stable, but you can do classic mode and a couple of one-player things that you can't do with the 2GB version, because I really had to clean up and get rid of any files I felt were unnecessary. So I had to get rid of all of the one-player mode stuff for the 2GB version to even work. But yeah. So that being said, I'm pretty much done with Infinite for the foreseeable future. But I might come back, I might do some more work on it down the road, but don't expect a major update from here, because there's not really a lot more I can do. I can maybe add a couple more characters in, I can maybe add a couple more costumes in, and I can clean up what's already there. But I can't really see any breakthroughs or any major things happening from here on out. I've seen there's some other builds out there like Project MX and some other things that have added new modes, but a lot of stuff is based on Project M, and converting that back to work in V-Brawl, Vanilla Brawl, is a bit of a pain. I'm not a big fan of Project M in terms of gameplay. I like it, I don't have a problem with it, but in terms of modding, it's a bit more of a pain to work with. And since I've already started this out on Vanilla Brawl, I didn't really want to have to go back. I also find Project M is more competitive focused, which is the exact opposite of what mine is, and I feel like trying to bring in that more competitive focus isn't going to work, because I'd have to make everything more competitively focused to blend in with that sense, and it's just, I don't think it's really going to benefit when all said and done, especially with the amount of work I'd have to put in to test everything, because I'd essentially have to test every single character and costume combination all over again to make sure they don't crash and make sure they work properly, the stages work properly with Project M, and it's just, there's so many variables when adding such a huge comprehensive mod like that into something. I can add small bits like stamina mode. I have a couple of movesets that were mostly already done by other people to work in Vanilla Brawl. I think the only one that I did totally myself was Project Ganon, and Ridley I did a lot of, because there was a fixed version out there, but it wasn't totally fixed. I found it still had a lot of problems, and I switched one of the moves around too. But it's just, I get requests for Project M to be added all the time, or to do a Project M version, and it's just, if someone else wants to do it, be my guest. All power to you, but it's just too big to combine with this. It's too many variables being thrown together all at once, and I don't have the time to set that up. I really don't. It's no longer an issue due to compatibility. Project M has had a working Brawlx for a while now. I don't think it has too many bugs to it. I'm pretty sure it's been mostly ironed out since then. I just really don't have the time to do it. That's the whole reason that I'm bringing this now to a close. So yeah, I think that's all my rambling. I think that gets through everything I've had to say. So I really hope you all enjoy 3.0. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. My Facebook page I keep more of an eye on, but to be honest, I'm not going to be keeping as much of an eye on either anymore. Suggestions for future updates, you can give me them, but like I said, this is sort of the end. So can't guarantee if, when I will even look into that, but you're free to suggest. I keep it all in mind. I keep a list of suggestions. I try to put in as much as I can. So that hasn't changed. It's just when I'll actually be doing it. May or may not be anytime soon. But crashes, bug fixes for that, tell me about those right away. I'll try my best to get those fixed. Those are more of a priority for me. I like to try to keep things as stable as possible. With when you have as many different mods thrown together like I do in this, it's really hard to keep everything 100% crash free, but I try my best. And with your help, I can make it even better. So thanks for watching, thanks for downloading, thanks for playing. And there's probably going to be just some assorted gameplay after this. There might not be. I've rambled on for almost an hour. Every time I say I'm going to be quick, I'm never quick. So anyway, thanks and have fun.
Fight you again sometime.
Congratulations! One, go!
今回は僕の勝ちだね。そこだ。
The winner is... Yes! Wario! Dolphin!
今回は僕の勝ちだね。
The winner is... Congratulations! 3, 2, 1, go! The winner is... Congratulations! 3, 2, 1, go! Choose your character.